Problem statement, problem of practice. How can teachers close the achievement gap in classrooms while increasing student interest and motivation? It's an issue for educators in the classrooms regardless of their grade level. Literature supports how people provide strategies to increase achievement and to increase student interest and motivation. Moving forward, educators can put in place these strategies to help students.
As we began compiling our research on our problem of practice of how teachers can close the achievement gap in the classroom while increasing student interest and motivation, we had written this down in a paper, and then we took that information and synthesized it into a literature map. This literature map, as you can see, has our three main topics, which will be discussed in the next couple of slides, along with some subtopics for each of them. And then we also have the articles that touch on the different subtopics and help support the main topic of each of these. And then at the end, we will also talk about the outliers, some of the things that um, didn't support the research or kind of went against it, had different ideas.
Theme 1 analysis, the use of motivation and engagement practices within the classroom. Florence and Kolsky used technology for a flipped classroom model. The results indicated that narrative craft errors decreased by 79%, and 37% of students rated themselves as feeling always amused. Uston et al. Data results demonstrated that students in the experimental group scored significantly higher than in the control group with an achievement score. Students reported significantly higher self-regulation skills on the learning management system that was online. Asigan and Simar, the results indicated most students learned new content using the gamification and STEM practices. Although most students faced some sort of challenge during the activities, most felt that gamification created a positive outlook on learning. Journey. This study strategy is found to be effective at early intervention, targeted learning interventions, one-to-one support, and other catch-up provisions. They used a specific curriculum to target students' needs. Butler and Nasser, they learned that the push-in inclusion model with co-taught classes, along with communication collaboration, was vital in closing the achievement gap. Hernandez, when teachers implement culturally relevant pedagogy within their classroom, it demonstrates a positive correlation to their reading scores. Students feel engaged and a part of their learning, especially when teachers connect through literacy.
In our theme 3, socioeconomics and culture and how they affect our students' ability to close their gaps and increase interest. Throughout our research, many of our articles continue with the idea that students with low socioeconomic status and of different cultural backgrounds might fall behind when it comes to the achievement gap. In Ellis's article surmounting the challenges of improving academic performance, closing the achievement gap through social, emotional, and character development, it speaks about how this gains from eighth grade on and it strengthens. And there, Ellis says that it is not a reasonable expectation for ethnic minority youth who do not feel safe or valued in school to sustain a strong commitment to learning, particularly when they're also aware of the long-standing gap between themselves and their white advantaged peers. Bird's article, Capitalizing on Differences, Key to Unlocking the Academic Achievement Gap, it also states that the whole child needs to be focused on when it comes to socioeconomic status and culture. Bird states that closing the academic achievement gap is as multifaceted as it is comprehensive.
Our first outlier we discovered in our research is giving student feedback. Students do not want to see feedback at the end of completed work. They would rather have feedback given throughout the process. The key in all of this is how we give feedback. Research says if we don't give quality feedback, this will lead to an adverse effect on increasing student motivation. Our second outlier we discovered in our research in closing the achievement gap, there was some controversy. In a research study, they found that teacher supervisors and university faculty agreed that problem of closing the achievement gap was a lack of instructional practices and quality curriculum. However, teachers did not feel this way because they did not think it was academically related. Now Amber will talk about our pedagogical applications.
Using flipped classroom model to pre-teach lesson. Pre-teaching by students preview lessons or videos prior to learning can help develop background knowledge of the content. 2. Using technology for automatic feedback on student performance. Technology can motivate, engage, and provide automatic feedback on student performance. 3. Use surveys to understand students' thoughts about learning, curriculum, and student-teacher relationships. Students that are given surveys about learning feel more involved in their education. 4. Improvement of school climate by understanding the culture. Students should use culture to help understand what motivates students. Accepting and respecting different cultural backgrounds and customs, the different ways of communicating, and the different values and traditions. 5. Allowing students to learn and explore their interests and providing real-life experiences promotes them to become lifelong learners. Students learn best when they explore their interests and gain real-life experiences. 6. Intervention strategies built into the curriculum. Intervention strategies built into the curriculum can help prevent student achievement gaps. It is noted the answer to achievement gap may very well be to attack it before it happens.
Or Theme 1 implications. All educators and administrators need to know how to motivate and engage students, but we also need to be cautious about some of the uses that we use with technology and other methodologies. One of the things that we realized in our research, specifically looking at technology, that using the flipped classroom model needs to be conducted by an experienced teacher. That it's very time consuming. It can cause anxiety by frequent reminders of student weaknesses. However, it can be recording a lesson for students to watch and preview the night before, or even you could use it as small targeted groups within your classroom. Also, the use of specialized computer programs such as like iReady in a flipped model classroom is an advantage, even though research states that some students show an increase in anxiety due to those frequent reminders of their weaknesses, and also the data log having to be closely monitored. When looking at our gamified STEM activities to create competition, that showed great increase in motivating our students in targeting to increase achievement. But one of the big things that you need to also consider when using technology is the student's ability to understand and access and their accessibility to technology. Another method in engaging and motivating students is providing direct feedback instantly. This can be done digitally or in person, but the big thing about giving student instant feedback, it increases their motivation and engagement.
Conclusion: ignoring this issue will lead to loss of student interest and motivation in learning. Students will stay multiple grade levels behind in learning, and teachers will face discouragement from lack of student engagement.